Greetings, mind crafters, and welcome to another Minecraft discussion on this glorious day. My name is Kimberly Quinn, and Giovanni's over here having a little bit of a drink and a little bit of a, where are you, Jay? There he is. A little bit of a wade in the beaver pond there. And we are here to talk about, again, taking charge, becoming the boss of your brain. That is what Minecraft is about. Thoughts first, feelings second, actions or behaviors last. And today, we want to, again, talk about, getting control of that and realizing control of your schedule and everything. So today's talk is about, if not now, when? As they say, life is not a dress rehearsal. This is the big game. Giovanni, what are you doing? She's having fun with the stick over there. And so here's the thing. We often just put stuff off. We put life off. We want to do this with that person, do this with that person. If not now, when? And also, I don't want to say professionally speaking, or I want to say passion speaking. Passion speaking, because we're not necessarily talking about money, though money is a lovely side effect to following our passion. Because as they say, do what you love and the money will follow. That was a book, I think back in the 80s, maybe 90s latest. Anyway, an oldie but a goodie. And we're talking about really listening to that inner voice and knowing, when we listen to the inner voice, we then are able to, see the green lights and also the red lights. The red lights tell us which way to not go. The green lights tell us which way to go. But here today, I really want to talk about sort of another essentialist tip. I'm a grasshopper on my white belt. And my white belt with maybe a blue stripe in essentialism. I'm reading that book by Greg McGowan. It's just great. And one of the things the essentialists talk about is exactly this. If not now, when? But also not trying to do it all at once, like striving for this big action and then you get subpar results, because typically that's not how the big results happen, ironically. From the big, huge, big, gigantic, shoot for the stars grab. That's not usually how the results happen. The biggest, most grand results, you can interpret that however you like, but you're just happy with your children's book, the business you wanted to start, the grown-up book you wanted to write, whatever it is, passion project you have. Typically, it's about taking small steps along the way. And I've talked about appreciating the breadcrumbs. I was just saying this actually to some folks I'm working on a big project with, and it's been breadcrumbs. It's breadcrumbs. I just tackled another breadcrumb this morning. I don't say tackled in a good way because I'm having loads of fun doing it, and it is so important to appreciate the breadcrumbs. There's a very loud woodpecker over there. You can hear the birds too. It's so nice. Okay, so I remember back when I wrote my first book, maybe it was right before, or I was starting to write my first book. I don't even remember who said it to me, actually. But they said, and at that time we had 4 kids, 5 and under, did not have our Spice Child, had not been born yet. And that somebody said to me, who had already done writing, said, don't wait, to carve out that Saturday, to write, 3 chapters in one day, or to, go away for a weekend and get the whole thing written, because that isn't going to happen. I remember thinking at that time, I'm like, ooh, not to say I don't even remember he, whatever, was a negative Nelly, but that was actually some of the best advice. Don't wait to just, write half the children's book or do all the illustrations or even get half the illustrations done in one day. And the book thing is just my example. Turn that into whatever it is that you really aspire to do. Making the phone calls, getting the layout, talking to the right people to get your startup going or whatever like that. Just make one phone call. So we're going to get to that in a sec, but it's the small breadcrumb steps that actually get us there. And I've written 3 books now. That was a long time ago. I wrote them 1, 2, 3 in a row. And that was some of the best advice anybody gave me. So I literally wrote the first one breadcrumb at a time, up in our kids' treehouse when they were in school, and then the nappers were napping. It's right outside the door. I could hear them and everything like that, of course. It was right there, actually. I could hear everything. And so that is how I got it done. And I took that advice. That was a long time ago. I wrote those books way back when they were say, young and in school and napping and things like that. And that's how I got it done. And I took that advice into now, with, again, my example is writing, but it doesn't have to be. Turn that into whatever your passion is. But writing is the psychology today. And those are short. If you just get started, come up with a title. There's your start right there. And to keep, the whole thing is the momentum thing, because small steps, the breadcrumbs are what get you to the manifestation. It's interesting because so many people, I think, tend to be more outcome based and thinking about when it's published and the book signing. Again, writing's just my example for this because it's easy for me. It can be your launch for your business. It can be whatever. So many people are excited for that big grand opening or that book signing or that, film festival debut or whatever. And that's all exciting. It's super exciting. But the actual manifestation part is actually the smallest piece of it. That's why it's so important to appreciate and be grateful for and thoroughly enjoy the breadcrumbs. Oh, we can maybe sit right here, G. What do you think? Unless the brook is too loud for everybody. I don't know. It's such a nice spot here. Okay, so, yeah, I got the humid hair today. Okay, so that's it. Appreciate the breadcrumbs. I actually just said this to some of the folks I'm working with, on this project that I'm doing, and they stopped and said, "Wow," one of them from NYC. I love this guy, super cool. Said, "Wow, you don't hear that much," and I was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "People actually appreciating the journey. They want everything like now. Yesterday, like kick it out, kick out the podcast, kick out the film, kick out the book, kick out the business, kick out the whatever." It's rarely, I was like, wow, because otherwise, what's the point? If you're not enjoying your life minutes along the way, what's the point of the big shebang at the end, really? It's kind of like you're just doing your time, and I'm not willing to sacrifice my life minutes like that. Obviously, you have speed bumps along the way. We have a little redo we have to do right now, which is fine, because that means the next one will be better, and stuff like that. But we have to really just appreciate the journey for darn sure. And small change. Remember, not the big leaps, not the reach for the stars in one shot. Reach for the stars, yes, but in breadcrumb increments. That's what we're saying. Okay, the next part of this is once you realize what your passion project is to in the morning. Well, I'm an early bird, but I don't know that it works the same at night. If you are a night owl, go with that and see how it goes. The reason the morning thing is different, regardless of what your clock is that the morning thing obviously is before you start out your day and before you go out into the world and do your stuff. And once the day gets going, it can get by you. So that's the thing. So the second part of this is to make a win list, or a victory list, however you want to call it. And this is a to-do list, but it's very specific. I do 3 things every single day, whether it's a video, part of a Psychology Today blog, because that doesn't happen all at once like we talked about. Sometimes it does, but I don't expect it. And maybe it's just thumbnails. Maybe it's particularly have a lot going on, and it's just, okay, get 3 thumbnails done, which is, if you don't know, the little pictures that are above the video that let people know what it's about. But as long as you pick 3 things, they can be small. And if it's, again, a very busy day, pick small ones, because you want it to be reachable and doable. And what is not allowed on the win list or victory list, what is not allowed is the laundry, the dishes, answering emails. That's just a regular to-do list. Keep them separate. It's so important to keep them separate, because your high-octane, passion-driven project is not part of all that, the laundry and the dishes and answering emails. It's just life minutes, like, you know what I mean? We have to do that stuff for sure. We can certainly trim the fat, though. Definitely trim the reply alls and all that. It saves loads of life minutes. All right, so there we have it. So, passion project. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is the big game. These are your valuable life minutes. And so, just get started. That's the whole point of this video, is just get started. If you're just at that idea, big sky phase, just make a phone call. Make a phone call. Talk about it with a friend. That's a start. That can be on your list. Let this out to somebody, and then make that, that first leap, whatever it is, or maybe looking up whatever it is online that's about your business. Just write that down. But you want the three goals or things, items on your win list or victory list to be doable. Super important. And then start making the steps. And the thing is, you don't say mañana, because then if you say mañana, then tomorrow it's going to be the same thing. It's a mañana again. You got to, if today's too busy, you got to take a big look at your schedule, and ask yourself, who's in charge of my schedule? Okay, if it's like a runaway train, you got to make some changes, because you are in charge of your schedule, nobody else. If it's a runaway train, that's where you got to start right there, reel that stuff in. And you just have to make choices. That's enormously essentialistic. Essentialistic, is that a word? I guess it is. It's enormously essential, because I'm thinking the essential lists is to get rid of all the other crap and focus on the one thing that you really want to do more than anything. Remember, priority is a singular word. In the 1400s, it didn't even exist that there were priorities. It was just priority. Find that one thing and get going, even if you're still working full time, whatever. And you don't want to leave and do, and you don't want to, because you still like it there and you need the paycheck or whatever. It doesn't mean you can't get up, an hour or two early and get it done. Or again, plan it at the other end. That's not me as much. I'm more of an early bird, but you're the one who's the captain of your ship and the master of your life minutes. So there you go. Make it happen. All right. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from the woods, the gorgeous woods with handsome Giovanni at the Notch in northern Vermont. Have a mindful, essential day.